gruesome crash scene images.
What?
So I'm thinking
Would that be videos, photos, what?
that's the videos. So that means, but my perception is historically I've been coming here and dipping in and out of the news broadcast.
Mm-hmm.
But whereas in the UK, if there is a scene, a
Mm-hmm.
crash scene, you hear about it. You may see a bird's eye view from the skies, but you don't see the person hanging out the car.
Mm.
You'd never get that close because they don't allow you that
I
close.
see. I see. You mean the grotesque?
Yeah,
Um, um, right, 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 right. And
but they allow people close. So
okay.
when you could come close before, and this is the camera, so that means you see it live on TV, whatever, and
Uh-huh.
you think to yourself, that's a bit close,
Mm-hmm.
and it would make me wince because it's not what I'm used to.
I understand what you're saying. I understand what
So
you're saying.
now people have phones in their pocket.
Mm-hmm.
So before you could get close and you could just whisper and tell your friend or shout and tell your friend, come, look.
Mm.
Now you can stand there and you're going to video it. And that's
Mm.
what they do.
Mm.
So whilst one is calling out the ambulance or the fire brigade or whatever, none of them have an ounce of first aid in their body, but
Yeah.
everyone's got a mobile phone. So
Mm.
everyone's filming this
Just,
event that the
just to,
family don't even know about, the friends don't even know about.
mm. It's just to get the sensationalization of the, like, look what we are see. So everybody,
Yeah,
it's like a clickbait business.
and
Mm.
a better another way is you go to a concert now and so many people are watching the concert through their mobile phone because that's what
Mm,
people
mm,
are
mm,
now doing. They're recording not just a 30-second clip or a minute clip. They're recording like 5, 10,
mm,
20 minutes, half an hour, the whole thing. And you're thinking, but
mm,
I could have stayed at home for that.
mm,
We're
mm.
using the technology, but are we using the technology? How are we
Yeah.
using technology? So, like I said,
Mm,
the pilots, the founders have given you a voice, and you're using it in order to show and speak to others. So, to me, I see that as a
mhm,
positive. But
mhm,
in terms
mhm.
of
Is
the
it?
ban and the legislation, you're thinking that horse has already bolted. There's no way, Jose, you're going to stop it now because you've all but created that. Your own
Mhm.
media created that. So how are
That's
you
right.
now going to stop those same people from doing what they're doing? It doesn't
Mm.
make sense.
When I first came across that type of thing, right? I was um I was driving in Brazil, right?
Mm,
Um, what happened? There was a like a traffic jam. We was there for about 20 minutes,
mm,
and what happened is that as we was driving, and then we was just it was the traffic was moving very slowly,
mm.
and what was happening was obviously, people was like stop, uh
Rubbernecking.
rubbernecking, right? But the thing is that there was about 20 other vehicles that had parked up on the hard shoulder,
Mm,
right?
mm,
And they were out there just looking around the thing,
mm,
right? So
mm,
obviously there's a big crowd around this accident,
mm,
and I'm thinking, why would they do that? Why would
mm,
they? You just
mm,
because, like, in England, you don't really stop and look at whatever
mm.
unless you're
You
trying
take
to
out a
help.
picnic basket and
You know,
start lamenting this
right?
person's life and you never knew them.
That's right. And then it was like a regular occurrence, like,
Mm,
and it was pointed out to me that, yeah, that's what they do in Brazil.
mm,
They come, and, like, if there's an accident or anything like that, people just stop, and they
mm,
just they just want to see what's going on,
mm,
you
mm,
know.
mm,
And I said, wow. But
mm,
obviously now with this frenzy to be popular,
mm,
the
mm,
media moguls
mm,
and such,
mm,
you know.
mm,
Oh, look how many views I got on my
mm.
on my
Page.
postings and
Mm,
all them
mm,
things there.
mm,
Yeah.
mm,
So in that way, they're trying to sensationalize their life. Say, yes, I was there and I see this and see that, and I know this about that person and this and that, whatever. You know, they don't know nothing about. They don't know nothing what happened. You know what I mean? It could have been a pigeon flying across the road, and the man swerved to miss the pigeon and crash. You understand? And unfortunately, it involved 3 or 4 vehicles in it. But then again, there's always the potholes to blame as well in Jamaica.
Well, and there's that. There is the state of the roads, but there's also the speed and the lack of respect for the said road. Or the said conditions, or I think I'm Lewis Hamilton's next in line, and I can drive like him, and I've got a car that's not as souped up, and I don't have all of the safety gear, but hey, I'm the man or I'm the woman. Well, it's more often than not men, unfortunately.
What's that seat strap? We don't need them seat strap. Foolishness.
No, I don't need that. I don't need that anti-roll bar. I don't need that. I don't need the helmet. They don't even wear a helmet on a motorcycle. Why are they going to put one on in the car? But everyone wants to drive like him.
That was one of the things that I saw when one of my first trips out there, and I'm looking and I'm seeing all these motorbike riders who got 1 foot and all them things there. I said, oh God. And then like, what is it? Yeah, they get in an accident and they tear off them foot and I go, rocks. But it don't stop them. It don't stop them. They still go on the same way. Go on the same way, man.
Yeah. Come out of hospital, brush themselves off, and then back on that saddle.
Yeah. Because like the thing is that it's only when I actually did my motorbike testing and riding, you know, that I realized the vulnerability of how you know you can get injured, you know, because obviously you know you're riding these things, and the slightest little knock out or crash on the thing, you're only flesh and bone.
Yeah. Once you hit that tarmac,
if you haven't got like protective or preventative wear, right? Surprising how easy that you can just lose a piece of your limb or something. Like so, you know, it's very surprising, you know. So, you know, you have to be cautious with certain things. Right?
Yeah,
be cautious because, like, as many of them are doing, they're just taking everything by chance, you know, like the invincible.
Yeah. There's a lot of people cycling on the motorbike, and it's almost like they got a cape that's with an S on it, and you're thinking, no, you don't. You do something crazy, or someone does something crazy, or the road conditions, the undertaking, the overtaking, and you think, at least in a car you've got a shell. It may not help you, depending on how you're driving and the quality of the shell, but at least you've got something. You guys haven't got nothing.
So true.
I don't think you've got time for a prayer. The way some of them drive, you think, nah. But it was interesting that they want to ban the sharing of those gruesome scenes, and I can understand it as a family if you're someone you know is part of it, and it's being splashed over that media.
I think even as it is now, and like how media has been like instantaneous, you know, I don't think that they will make an effective action unless they take a infringement of personal injury in that way. Right? And if they do, then it's obviously the person who's actually involved or the families, individuals that are involved, then they would have to bring some kind of lawsuit or whatever.
Yeah.
Right? and that's I mean that's the legal ramifications as I see it.
Mm,
As I
mm,
see it.
mm,
But in effect, I mean, like I know that there's been few cases here in the UK where some of these celebrities have said you can't share my it's
photos.
not
Mm,
information, but my privacy or something,
yeah, yeah,
invasion of
yeah,
privacy.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And they've taken some of them to court and all that type
Mm,
of things there. I
mm.
think the last one was the Roonies. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay,
And
okay.
then their friend sent was sharing some information or some
Mm,
text or whatever,
mm,
and they took them to court.
mm, mm,
And obviously, they won eventually,
mm, mm,
right? But like that's the only case that I see, and I'm thinking, how far are you going to go with this type of
mm,
thing? Because
mm,
obviously, something that like somebody has passed away or something in an accident,
mm,
and that's the only time that you actually hear about it, or before you're being informed of what possibly could have happened or whatever,
mm, mm,
But the way how things are, because I know they've put a blockage on a lot of scenes on like YouTube's,
mm,
yeah,
mm. Okay.
and Facebooks as well. Because
Mm,
remember back in the day, they used to show public executions from like Iran and them place there,
okay. Yeah,
you
yeah,
know,
yeah,
beheadings and things like that.
yeah.
They used to show those type of things on
On
those
those platforms.
Facebooks and all them things there.
Mm,
So they've obviously curtailed those type of things
mm,
by monitoring what's happening. But still, there are a lot of other violations what they're still guilty of allowing
mm,
anyway, you
mm,
know. So,
mm.
like speech, certain types of speech, race hatred speech and things like this.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
What
yeah.
I found funny, and I have been suspended of those platforms,
Okay.
is that if there's any like well, I will tell you the times of when I've been suspended, is that there would be like some kind of like blatantly racist comment by
Mm,
somebody posting a comment,
mm,
yeah,
mm, mm,
and then I would um not attack the person or who's actually posting it, but
mm,
I would point out the 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 wrongs of what that person was saying, right? In other words, that if I would always turn it around, like if it was a white person,
mm,
would you say
mm,
exactly the same thing?
mm, mm,
You know,
mm,
because obviously they're talking in a derogatory way towards black people, and
mm.
I would get reported and get suspended. Which I find kind of funny, really, because
Ironic.
yeah, because like obviously I'm retorting towards something that is blatantly racist, but yeah,
Mm.
I'm the one who gets suspended.
Getting slapped over the knuckles.
Yeah, so
Mm,
it happen. Listen, it happens, and it will always happen
mm.
because people have their thoughts and the way how they think.
Yep,
I'll
yep.
guarantee, I'll guarantee there's somebody whose veins in their neck are standing up now, and they're talking about some other persons and race and immigration or whatever.
Mm,
Anyway, so
mm,
so I guarantee that's happening
mm.
somewhere in the world. Anyway, so
Yes.
they're not all
Yes.
happy and joyful like you and
No, no, not so, not so.
I. Yeah. All
But
right. All right. Anyhow, what else have you got for us, my sister?
so on the back of that, there's a fraud that's they've just uncovered. Um, so the long and short, and I don't know the full detail because it's literally only the last 24 hours they've uncovered it.
Mm.
However, there was a fire within the factory. The factory then had to reconfigure how they do their distribution. Two members within that organization saw that there was a loophole, allegedly managed to have a conversation with up to potentially 17 to 25 others.
Mm-hmm.
And they also got involved. So this is from the driver to other parts of that organization.
Mm-hmm.
So now they're finding out millions have gone from a delivery in terms of what they've siphoned off. And there are 6 others that they wish to talk to. So there's 17 that they've charged. They're going to appear in front of the judge at the end of the month.
Wait a minute. There's a fire. Hold on, let me get this right. There's a fire.
So there was a fire in a distribution plant.
What was their product?
Suppligen. So
Suppligen,
they were the ones that do Suppligen plus other food kind.
Okay.
So then they had to reconfigure their distribution, and in reconfiguring their distribution, 2 members of staff allegedly found that there was a loophole in the system and managed to talk to others join the bandwagon. So they saw 2 as protagonists potentially, and others who have joined and made millions off of the claiming that things have been either picking up goods and selling them on and keeping the proceeds because it didn't have to go through the books because they found the loopholes. So that's something that's going to court. So that's still allegations. But there's 6 other people they're looking for who they wish to talk to. So in the UK, I'm used to the police saying, we are looking for 6 more people, full stop. They may give you a bit more detail in terms of who they're looking for, but the detail is, because it's an ongoing investigation, the detail is sparse for those who are not in the circle. So I'm sitting down there and I'm thinking to myself, but what's wrong with this? What I'm being told, because the information seems to be so much. So they give the people's names and then they give their last known address. So sometimes they say it's the last known address and sometimes they're just saying address. And I'm thinking, I don't get that. Because if they're part of your investigation, whether they could be good, bad or indifferent, why are you giving out their digits? The only thing you didn't give was their date of birth and their blood type. You gave their full name and their address.
Oh my gosh.
And sometimes you was tripping up over the name. So you hadn't even looked at your sheet, your crime sheet, to say, okay, let me just get the spelling of this person's name right. And they just literally read it through. ABC lives at number one, plot 1, blah, blah, blah street on whatever lane. And you're thinking, but that's the first time I've actually clocked the fact that there are other people they want to speak to. And like I said, they've given out the whole people's digits. And now my thought process is, so how are you involved? But I don't know whether or not they are involved, because everyone's not come to court yet. See, how do I know they're involved? Are they just an innocent bystander? Are they also someone who's benefited from it? But in giving out the person's full digits, and then you can complain about the gruesome nature of people taking shots at a crime scene, an accident. You're creating the monster, and you can't then turn around and say,
are you sure that this reporter or that somebody in that newsroom is just vexed and they just say, you know something, you're getting it today. You're getting it today. Or did they pick up the reject pile and
just wanted to make a story?
Yeah, they just swapped it with the actual plan for today.
I don't know. For me, it's 2 separate stories, but it's 2 separate stories for me which are linked. Because historically, if I think about taking the images, historically, I've seen them rubbernecking to the point they do, like you say, pull over the side of the road, stop what they're doing, and will take out a mobile phone. Back in the day, everyone was swarm around, as well as the film crew.
Mm.
And now you're saying you want someone who's of interest, but you're giving out their full name and their last known address or their current address. And then on the other hand, they're talking about census and the census people going around, and you must talk to the census people. I'm thinking, but why are people going to want to talk to you if I know that I'm a person of interest and you're going to be giving my digits like that? I don't know. It just felt uncomfortable.
Yeah.
It just felt uncomfortable. It's not what I'm used to.
The thing is that I remember back in the day when we used to have like Police 5 and all them things there, right?
Yeah.
And they used to give out like warnings about certain individuals, but they never used to give their address or anything like that, right?
They would give a location. They may say London area.
Yeah.
So they may narrow it down that much, and they may give a picture. So they didn't give a picture, but they gave a name. Like I said, a full name. Sometimes they couldn't, and then they gave either the last known address or the current address that they have for that individual on file. So my reasoning is, as police, if you know where they live,
I'm sorry, but that is totally wrong, isn't it?
It just doesn't. Like I said, I don't know which part of the interest they are, the good part or the bad part or the not so good part. But if you are someone of interest and you know that they're looking for you, you're going to disappear. Anyone that you know that knows you, I don't know. I just don't understand.
Hide in plain sight.
Yeah. Leave that parish and go and live somewhere else. And if you are someone of interest that they want to speak to, then you're going to either do the good, the bad, or the indifferent in someone else's backyard. And you're thinking, find them first and then broadcast. Find them guilty. Find them and find them guilty. It just, like I said, it didn't make sense.
It's one of those things. It's one of those things that you just think, where does the sense come out of this? Because it's gotten too far out of kilter here, right? All of a sudden, everybody turned detective.
And if you're looking for help, then you can do it in a different way. Ask the community in a different way. But then if, like I said, if that person's a person of interest, and I don't know, and I've not been here long enough to have picked up on that vibe, but because there was a big case whereby it was all gang related, blah, 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 hush, 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 whatever. And that recently came to conclusion. But I don't know whether or not, and that was a number of people over a period of time, whatever. But I don't know whether or not they did, in part of their investigation, whether they held people out in the same way. So I don't know whether or not it's a new occurrence or whether or not they've always done it, but I've just not picked up on it. So yeah. But like I said, they've not, those who they think are guilty from an investigation point of view and a pecking order point of view, they haven't come up in front of the judge. So nobody knows if the state of the investigation is still ongoing.
Okay.
So yeah, that just shocked me when I was sitting down, well, not sitting down, but just listening to the news passing and thinking, what's wrong with that image? What's wrong with that news broadcast? And yeah, it's not something I'm used to.
I tell you, the thing, what as I say, it's only when I go to certain other places, right, that I will see the way how they do portray some of their news. Right. I'm trying to think of the place where I saw this. I'm sure it was in Turkey, I saw it was in Turkey. And they were reporting on a war. They were reporting on a war, right? And part of the news, like they have news highlights. One of the news highlights was like one of the reporters, and what happened? There was a bomb, like a hand grenade. It was in an active war, And this reporter, he was hold on, let me give out a warning first because it's kind of graphic what I'm going to explain here. So I'm putting that to the listeners here as well. Right. So if you don't want to hear, please revert your ears or whatever. Anyhow, so this reporter, he was actually caught in the bomb explosion of this bomb.
Okay.
And it just happens that the camera fell at the same place, same way, same angle, and laid on the floor at the same place where he was his face.
Okay.
Right? And it literally was his last breath that
that was captured.
That was captured. And he was a young man. And I thought, even when I saw it, I thought, oh my word, they actually showing this young man dying, And I thought, right, okay, they're gonna search us. But it was almost every evening, like it was part of their international introduction and whatever. It was kind of like saying that they would do anything to get news. They give up their life to go to get news. And I thought, wow, look at this here. And it was for me. I thought that is going too far. But then again, you realize how barbaric their views are, right? When I was in Valencia, right? At the time, they had the bullfighting.
Okay.
Yeah. And every evening, there would be these people slaughtering bulls in the bull ring, the matadors and other things there. They'd be slaughtering the bulls. It'd be like, like how they say you would watch football over here in the UK. For them, it was bullfighting. I said, God, these people are just barbaric. But then again, that is the nature of these type of people that we're dealing with as well. So for them, so when you see their actions and reactions with each other when they go to the football matches and like other events, and then like rioting and things like this. Do not underestimate their barbarism when they will actually take out, because they've already been conditioned, right? Because like the television is always on. A child could be sitting down there and they see that and they think nothing of it now. But obviously for someone like me who's come from the UK, we don't see that side of it, right? We're censored from that element of it. But them over there in Europe, they will show anything and everything. So what you're saying there in Jamaica is no surprise to me. No surprise to me, because as I said, like even in like the Ukraine war and things like this, they will show you this person, dead bodies all over the place, right? Whereas they do censor it if it's possible here in the UK, yeah. And certain platforms now are adhering to certain levels of violence and embarrassment, because obviously sex sells. So therefore, some of the acts what they were actually allowing on there, they've curtailed it now. So, but in other words, even though we say we don't want to see it, but it does happen.
Yeah.
It does happen.
Yeah.
And there will always be a market for those who want to see
sensationalize.
They want to see it, but they want to see, decapitations, violence, extreme violence, real life murders, executions, and all them type of thing there. You know?
So, but there's something I was reading, and I thought to myself, okay, I hear you. And it's a youth turns away from crime, now helping other young men change their lives. And it was just a big spread, as in 2 pages, of that youth. They talk about him, but they also talk about another youth who's done the same thing, who had been turned away from crime. And the thing that struck me in all the reading, when I was reading in terms of him, was him turning his back on his family, his neighborhood, his friends. And for him, that decision must have been hard. But that's to me, it's anytime when you're doing anything and you're looking to make an improvement and feed into and grow yourself, there will be casualties along the way, because people may not understand you, people may not agree with what you're doing, or they may not want you to advance or progress. Because they see the fact that you're able to advance, you're showing them up that they're not able to do it in the same way, so they want to hold you back. So it was beautiful, the fact that they actually put in the newspaper, within that article, they spoke about him. And what words did they use? And that's in terms of him turning away from his family, and they saw that as it took me a lot to do here, but he done it for his betterment. So he dropped a lot of his friends, even family. So that means the way that they wrote it is that he's saying that it took me a lot to be here. I had to drop a lot of friends, even family, but it's for my better. So they're taking his exact quotes, and I'm thinking to myself, good for you, brother. Recognizing it, having the strength and the courage in order to do it. And that's someone who was in a life that he recognized and didn't want to remain in. But that's for a lot of us when we're here. And if I think about the gratitude and thanks that you said initially, in terms of the founders of Galaxy, they would have upset a lot of people in wanting to do this. Other friends or family may thinking that, hang on a minute, who are you? Uppity, whatever, radio show, radio station. But sometimes you need to drop the negative around you in order to achieve that positive thought and that positive vibration, and that opportunity. So
it's one of the things, you know, as you develop in yourself and you come to the realization of your path, right? Watch, I'm starting to sound like a preacher now. Just come to that realization. Yeah. Let me continue. As you develop in your path or your maturity, or your realization of what you would like to be or who you would like to be, there are those who are there that are supportive of you, and those who you around you, right? And even those who are around you, this on there. See if I could get this. Even those who are around you, right? They are the ones who are holding you to where you are at the time. Yeah. Probably places you go, people see. they're holding you where you are at the time. But if you want to change,
mm,
if you want to change, you have to change not only you, but you have to
mm,
change that surrounds you,
mm,
right?
mm,
Sometimes, unfortunately to say, your family is not going to
mm,
be there to actually support you in
mm,
in in your development
mm,
or change of life. They
mm,
may be even encouraging you to
mm,
continue with your life because they're living off the proceeds
mm,
or the production of that life.
mm,
Yeah.
mm,
So
mm,
so in some ways you may have to pull yourself away
mm,
from all that is around you.
mm,
Couldn't even say, why, you know something, I used to dress in a certain way, but I
mm,
can't dress like that no more because that's the image that is portrayed. Yeah.
mm,
So what you do, you have to get rid of all of the clothes
mm,
there, yeah,
mm,
right?
mhm,
And then all of a sudden people see you in a different, oh, why you all dress up in a shirt and tie and all them things there for?
mm,
Yeah.
mm,
Why? Because I'm taking on a different role. I'm living a different way. Yeah. And it's only those who you meet from that moment on will accept you or check, will accept you for who you are, right? Or who you're going to be in preference to what you was, because they don't know that. Yeah. So therefore, you know, this is how some people see you. This is how people actually want to see you sometimes. That's why they draw you back in that. You understand? Yes, yes, Mr. Guinness, we're talking. You know, so you know, it's one of those things that you have to realize. Change is not just it's not just in your mind. It's the whole persona, the whole thing. You know,
yeah, yeah,
you have to do that.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Mm.
and it's be having that strength. So sometimes you're, as they say, you may not be able to, from a family point of view, you may not be able to rid yourself, and they may be the people that keep you grounded,
Yeah.
whereby you think to yourself, oh, I walk, I don't even walk through the door, I just walk on air.
Mm.
But they're the ones that keep you grounded and may
Mm.
help you. So I'm thinking from this, from not necessarily in terms of that youth there who's moving from a life of crime to um, helping and stopping and discouraging others from going down that road. But
Mm.
this is just as we are as individuals, and it's that thought process of, if I'm going to either go through the education system or I'm going to do something to feed into myself in order to move me from where I am now, I may need to drop the friends that I currently have, that I'm hanging with, that I'm communicating with, that I'm talking to, well, on whatever social media platform or telephone or whatever, in order
Yeah.
to do that improvement. So I need to put my heads down and study. I need to be in different circles.
Mm.
And I've heard the analogy in terms of, if you're the best dressed person amongst your group of friends, you need to find a new group of friends. If you're the one that's doing the talking and you're thinking about from a spoken word point of view, and the
Mm.
dreams and the realities and the life that you want to lead, and the group of friends and people that you're standing around can't see your vision, think that you're cuckoo, or
Mm.
think, or keep demeaning you, whereby you start to live your dream in your pocket because you don't want to speak about it because of the comments that are going to be said. You need to move from those group of people,
Mm.
because they're not they're not a cheerleader. They're holding you down, because once you thrive,
Mm.
like I said, it may show them up for the ability and the chances that they had that they didn't take, and they
Mm.
don't want you to take it. I remember, and the thought just come to me. I remember was it Boys in the Hood? There was a movie. I think it was
Mm.
Boys in the Hood, whereby it wasn't Trey, it was his best friend.
Yeah, that's Boys
who
in the Hood.
wanted to do Boys in the Hood, and he wanted to do the basketball.
That's right. That's
And
his brother.
Yeah,
Brother, isn't
that was his best friend. Wanted to do the
yeah.
basketball,
Mm.
and he's looking to get out. He's a young man. He had a child, but even with having the child, he still wanted to get out. Managed to do the SATs, but because of the neighborhood that he was living in, he died before he had an opportunity of realizing his dream. And it's to me, I love that movie, back in the day movie. But it's the analogy. There's a lot of analogies in that movie, but it's that analogy in terms of wanting to do better, but because of the community that he lived in, he just didn't get the chance.
You see,
Didn't
yes,
get the
life
chance.
was taken short.
Yeah.
Because of non-related or whatever. You know, they just saw an association with a certain person they were after, and that was it. Then again, you know, that's how some of our people are living. Some of our young people, we are so detached in some cases from how our young people are literally living. They are running a gauntlet, you know, just to even go to school. Some of them are running a gauntlet of challenges, you know. Some of them, and literally some of them are life changing as well. Life endangering, because like we have now the school holidays, and like in comparison when I was young, right? You know, everywhere you could see children. You know,
You're coming and going, so I don't know whether the listeners are hearing clearly.
okay. What I'm getting a feedback. I am
Okay.
getting a
And you're
feedback.
going to say it's for me, innit? Let me put my.
It usually is. It usually is. Yeah. Okay. Then that's I'm working now. Yeah. So like even with our young people, they're on vacation right now, right? And like in comparison to when I was a younger, okay, that you don't see them like moving around on the streets or at play, right? And I mean literally at play, right? You just don't see them around, you know. And this is in the London area. I don't know if the suburbs or the country area is different, but in a London, you just don't see them moving around on the street no more like that. Yeah, and like for me, it's kind of strange. It's very strange that you just don't see young people, children, right, playing in the street. You just don't see it, right? I know that even in the area, there's a play park area, right? That listen, back in my time, when that was holiday, that place was full right up until all 10, 11 o'clock at night. You understand? But like now it'd be very rare if you even see a child in a play area. You know, it's just mad because like I don't know, you know, things have changed obviously to that they have their own home entertainment and they're not encouraged to even come out, or is it the actual fear of what could happen to them if they do come out? You know, and like for me, it's just so different. You know, and I can see that like even as they grow through their years, because obviously as they experience, that is exactly what they're going to be teaching their children. Be safe. Don't care. You must stay at home. I must know where you're going. I must be able to see you all the time. You understand? So who's who's the one who's entrapped at this time? You know, and then soon as they do start to spread out, when they get into their teenage years, right? The police is onto them. Yeah, the police is onto them with unwarranted like stop and search, right? I mean, yes, young people are involved in this and that occasionally, very occasionally, rarely, right? But it's not to say that every one of them you're gonna criminalize or say, oh, they're young, so they must be doing this, they must be doing that, or they're in a certain area, so therefore they must be this, they must be that. Yeah. And this is the type of things that we are fighting against all the time here, you know. And I'm sure that many a young person in the Caribbeans and the Africas are targeted exactly the same way. Yeah.
So someone I was speaking to yesterday, and I think I alluded to it when we were speaking, said back in the day, exactly as the picture that you just painted in terms of young people being out and playing. So he was someone I spoke to who said, yes, from a young person's point of view, Easter time, they would do that cracking of the egg and seeing and he says that he never saw the images. He didn't see the images. But he's a painter and decorator now, and you're thinking to yourself, okay, but he's got the eye for paint. But he said back in the day when he was cracking the egg, and all the kids around were looking, and some people saw castles, some people saw dolphins, some people saw all types of things, but he never saw nothing. But children now these days don't have that imagination. They don't have that opportunity to be out and playing. And he says there was bushes that he would chop down. They would just chop down as you do as children, because in play, and it would over the Easter at a certain time it would be whatever the pulse coming out would be red. So what the brother was saying before, it is true. That's how children used to play. That's how young people used to play. But mention now in terms of I see the children coming home from school en masse and walking, which you don't tend to see so much in the UK. Them walking because there's a marina. They'll be sitting down and doing what young people do, hijinks in whatever, laughing and joking. Whether or not they're the same volume of children playing in the street, no, because a lot of them are playing with their computers, their mobile phones, and that then becomes their entertainment from their bedroom or their porch or the room in the house rather than on the street. And it's sad because, like you say, back in the day, in the past, holidays was a time of catching up with the friends in the neighborhood if you didn't go to school with them, and you're then better laugh and joke, and there'll be a honor amongst you in terms of all of you jumping on a bus and going and just laughing and doing your hijinks, but understanding and learning at the same time and feeling comfortable and confident in terms of play and expression within that play, which the young people don't do now. If you're doing it behind closed doors or you're doing it with a computer screen, then when you're called upon to do it in the human form, how do you
In
then
real life.
in life, in real one-to-one, in real time, rather than computer time? How do you do it? They don't know how to.
Exactly. And then if they don't get the same results what they've been conditioned to, do they implode?
And that's the thing. How do they then respond to that rejection? Imploding. And those things are in the past may have been able to work themselves out in a, like again, in a hijinks point of view where everybody walks away having had that little tussle, but everybody walks away. Whereas now you implode to a point whereby you're taking out a weapon. You don't know how to communicate. So you're going to go for hold on to the first thing that you can find. Yeah, that takes it down a whole different avenue.
Very much so. Yeah, man. Yeah, let's take a little break for a little while. We'll come right back here on the Galaxy.net Morning Rising. Right.
Okay.
Let me play this one. Lines are open 0203 289 6504. Ready for you.
Mama Africa, yeah, I hear you calling, Mama Africa, yeah, Mama Africa, yeah, I hear you calling, Mama Africa, yeah. Some live without you, but I could not live without you. Some say repatriation, but seem like it's procrastination. And I could not do that, no how, no way. That's why I got to say to my people today, Mama Africa, yeah, I hear you calling, Mama Africa, yeah, Mama Africa, yeah, I hear you calling, Mama Africa, yeah. Many of them doubt you, that's something I can't do. I'm ready to develop, yeah, not so decent ways. Arms in arms, yeah, we can do it together. Moving on strong, right into the future. Mama Africa, yeah, I hear you calling, Mama Africa, yeah, ooh yeah, Mama Africa, yeah, Grams hear you calling, Mama Africa. We say Africa, ooh yeah, Equatorial Guinea, oh Tanzania, I hear you calling, ooh Guinea, Eritrea, yeah, sweet Ghana, sweet Kenya, Ivory Coast, Burkina Faso, Mama Africa, yeah, I hear you calling, Mama Africa, yeah, ooh yeah, Mama Africa, yeah, I hear you calling, Mama Africa, ooh it says, Mama Africa, oh yeah, Mama Africa, yeah, Mama Africa, yeah, I hear you calling, Mama Africa, yeah.
Long time. I don't reach down them past there, you know. Long time. I need to go dust off my passport and get my backside down there, so.
I'm coming home.
Oh.
I love the fact that you, well, I know you give out the numbers. Can you just give it out again? Just see if there's
Yeah.
anyone out there that just wants to
Yeah,
get
no,
involved in the conversation or start a
02.
conversation.
All right. Watch it. Your feedback. Put your thing on. I tell you what. Go out and come back in and let's see if that will help. All right. Yeah. So it's 0203 289 6504. It's our live line here in the studio. Right. You can always text as well or WhatsApp, and that is 079 47 479 219. Yes, so you can always come on that as well, right? And that's it. This is us here in the morning doing our morning risings as well to all and everybody out there, right? And we're just going through some topics that could be affecting our community. Find out what the measure of the community really is. Because what we are the ones that are needed right here in the community to make sure so that we are governing and looking after those in our community strong. Right. Let me just here we are. Right. Let's bring back our sister Sandra back into the room. There you go. Right. Yes, that sounds a little bit better, doesn't it?
Yes, from my end, I'm hoping that from our family's end, I'm hoping that it's the same. Sounds better, clearer.
It sounded a lot clearer now because it was like reverbing on itself,
Okay.
So we'll see anyhow. Let's see
Okay.
how long it lasts. You know what happens, right? As it gets to the top of the hour, it kind of goes into its own zone, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Doesn't it?
It's almost like, I'm coming to the top of the hill now, so I need to just slow down. I need some more power. Where's that power?
As everybody else wake up.
So, yes.
Right. Listen, the lineup for today is Dr. Oliver. Right, he'll be up after us. He's due to become up after us, and then we have Brother Icon, right, with the Iconic Connection, yes, and then we'll have right. Hold on, what's going on there? You see what's happening here now? It's taking me into different directions again. Okay, right. Then we have it's due. Hold on, just a moment. Yes, our next presenter after Brother Icon is or would be Dr. Abu. Dr. Abu is not with us at the moment, so he'll be Jammers. I think he mentioned that Jammers will be in. Then it'll be Brother Call for Campaign for Truth and Justice. Nana Pakamprabai, right? He'll be there. And then we have Selector C in the evening to pull us out to the next morning, right? And then obviously we'll have Jakayan King to do his marathon run overnight into the Sunday, into the Saturday morning. Yeah, man. Right. So we look forward to that still again. Yeah. So we have a full lineup for today, and everybody can be engaged with us. So wherever, whatever, and of course you can always download the app if you haven't done already. Right. You can download it or indirectly. You can be listening to us directly or indirectly if you download the app. And yes, no matter where you're there, as long as you have some access to some like Wi-Fi or internet access, you can be listening to us in that way there, right? And please, just drop a message to say yes, we're listening. If it's good or different, if you have a question or anything like that, and you could do that on 079 47 479 219. you know, it's nice to know, say that you are listening. So, you know, just drop a message, or if you don't want to come live, right? And of course, our show, which I'm doing here right now, is live on the Facebook, and also live on the YouTube, right? YouTube is on the Blacknificent Show. Facebook is Blacknificent Show again, right? So I'm using those platforms to do the live broadcast through as well. So they're okay. So yeah. So my sister, wagwan.
It's interesting you mentioned passport, so and travel and the continent. So I'm just out of curiosity, I'm throwing it out there. How many airports are there in Jamaica?
Oh, right. What, the major ones or the little ones?
The airport, international.
International.
Bring in international.
That I know of, there's two.
Okay,
There's two
so
that I know.
there are 3 international airports.
Really?
3 international airports, and they're looking to build a 4th. So
hold on. What's the tree then?
the 3rd one is let me see, what's the name of it? It is the one in where are you? I saw you there the other day, just a minute, yesterday. The Ian Fleming Airport in Bosco Bay, St. Mary. That was upgraded. So when they upgraded that, and they spent a whole load of money.
Okay.
How much in billion? 2 billion pound, 2 billion US dollars. And the airport was upgraded and completed in 2022. But at the moment, it looks like the birds are using it more so than the aeroplanes, because the international flights that they were expecting, the smaller planes, but they were expecting, none are coming in through that airport. And one of the reasons, a rationale some of the airlines were saying was because they needed some more technology, to make it safer. No point building an airport if you don't have the right technology, bearing in mind what's coming and going and the important cargo, as in people. So the Caribbean Airways from Turks and Caicos Islands, they schedule flights that come in there, and I think their flights are also
Ian Fleming.
They're the only courier or carrier that use it. But that said, and that's a recent upgrade, 2022, which was only last year, having spent 2 billion.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying, because I only know of 2.
Yeah, but that one has been there, and it is one of the ones that is classed as international, bar the fact that there is some navigation system. It doesn't yet have that an international standard, which explains why some of the other smaller airlines don't use it. But that said, the question is, does Negril need an international airport?
Negril. Wow.
Negril.
Wow.
So
that would explode that area, to be honest.
So
because
go
ahead. Sorry. Go ahead.
So the question is, and that's the question. That's the question, because it's got a question mark after it in terms of after the word airport. It would explode the area, but is it necessary?
Right. And also, like when I'm there, and I was in the family home in Mandeville, it would take me at least 3 hours? 3 hours to get down there.
Okay.
What's that thing? All right. Yeah. It would take me about 3 hours to get down there, right? And the roads were they were drivable. They were drivable, but if there was an airport down there now, I know that those who were holidaying, they would probably use that as an airport of their destination. they would use that as an airport for the destination and where they would be landing as well, you know. Right, I have a caller here with us. Is our brother Haikon. Greetings, brother.
Greetings.
Grand risings.
Yeah, peace and love. Rise up, Empress Sandra. Grand rising.
Mm.
Yes, my brother. And I'm talking about the airport. And when I was calling, I just tripped out, so I didn't get the name of it. But the airport Sister Sandra was talking about. What's the name of it again? Sorry.
Ian Flemings.
Right. That airport, from my knowledge of it, it's a diplomatic airport.
Oh.
So, for example, when like Williams or one of the prime president of the USA or even the president for the UK is going, they don't normally let them land in the two main airports, Manly Airport and the one in Mobay. So that airport is kind of used for diplomats.
Okay.
And, yes. So I think that's one of the reasons why you haven't really known about it. It's kind of like a private airport, but now it looks like they're planning to extend it to the public.
Okay. Because like the thing, as I say, I only know of two airports. I know that there are other airports, but they're more for like, as you say, like private airports.
Yes. Inland flights. Yes.
Yeah, inland flights. Yeah. Heliports and things like that. You know.
Yeah.
No, yeah.
Yes, what was Sandra saying? Sorry.
Yeah, so the way that it's reported, they've upgraded it and opened it up and hoping then that there will be more of the more use of that airport. But if it's just used for the dignitaries, infamous and or famous, the rest of us won't use it in the same way.
No, maybe that's why they need to upgrade it then. They want to make it like a 6-star airport.
I don't know if the infrastructure around it, I don't know in terms of the roads and everything like that around it, whether or not how easy it is once you land and come in, because you just mentioned in terms of where you are, the current situation, 3 hours. I know in terms of me getting to Portland, whether I'm going from Montego Bay or Kingston, it's on average 2, 3, 4 hours, depending on which airport I'm going to travel on or travel via.
And what parish is it in Flemings Airport in Sister Sandra? What parish is it in?
St. Mary, I think they said.
St. Mary.
They said. Yes,
Okay.
yes, St. Mary.
So
they're looking
doing the highway from St. Thomas to Arborview.
Yeah.
I don't know on that new highway that they've doing. I don't know. Probably that's going to probably alleviate the time for you when that's finished. But I know that's going to bring up the prices for the houses and the infrastructure around the east side of Jamaica now. So that's interesting. Yeah.
How them country people gonna live down there, sir?
Yeah.
Because all them know is about seasonal fruit, man. That's it.
They live good.
You know, I know we're laughing and smiling about it, but you know, it's a serious thing. You know, you bring all those services there, right? But what is actually going to support the people? You know, it's crazy. It's crazy, man. You know, because like I know. Well, I've been hearing that most of those roads there, the new roads and all that, it's like toll roads. You know, and the cost of actually driving on them is like 4 times the amount that you would even pay over here to drive. So how local people gonna know be able to afford them type of driving there? Yeah, it's crazy. It's madness.
No.
So yeah, the policy of you have to pay each time you go through. But I don't know if Sister Sandra got an information on whether the new highway that they're building from St. Thomas to Arborview, that's going to be a toll road. I've not really heard of anything previously, but I don't know if you have any knowledge of that.
So I've not heard them say whether or not there's going to be any cost attributed to the road. All I just know is that that road that they're building from St. Thomas at the moment is a dust bowl, and there are just so many hiccups with that road and the building of the road and the quality of life there at the moment for the residents who are waiting with bated breath for it all to be done. So it's started, it stopped. Seems like at the present moment in time a pretty good mess. Contractors, local contractors doing bits of it, overseen by the main contractors, and that not working, and the main contractors having to come back in and to effectively pick up where they should have done from the day one. So there's a lot of politics around that road.
That's a sad thing about it, because I was looking at the information also where the Chinese was the one that got the contract first, and they sublet it to local contractors, and they messed it up. So now the Chinese are the one that's finishing up, and there's some situation that's happening in Jamaica. And can we blame the Chinese? Because that's what you're saying. You know, they got the opportunity to do the work, and they fall short. So that's one of the reasons why in most of those major contracts in Jamaica, the Chinese get it, and they bring even their workers into it. It's a sad situation, but it's a reality.
Because the locals, I don't know where what they did with the money, but they've just literally dug up the roads and just left it in a mess. And getting from that side of town, once you leave Port Antonio and you're heading towards St. Thomas, take your eye off of the time and pray that your vehicle is good enough to get there and back, because it's going to come back dusty. You're going to come back dusty. If things are going to fall off your vehicle, because it's that time on those roads, it will definitely fall off. It's going to rattle. It's going to roll. It's not pretty. It's not for the faint-hearted, that journey.
That's a pity. That's a pity, man. Because
the government keep on talking about, and the ministers keep on talking about how beautiful it's going to be once it's made and once it's created. But it's at the moment there's a hell of a lot of people going through a hell of a lot of stress just living along that road.
Maybe they're causing the difficulty. Maybe they're causing the difficulty to
prolong the work.
Say that. Prolong the work. No, in my view, right, what it would do is that if people are finding it extremely difficult to get into that area, they're just gonna move to where things will be easier. In other words, they make it difficult now, right, so that people just move out of the area, right, so that when they complete the road, then they can just take over the lands and everything down there to make their own city again. You know, because eventually there is going to be a construction of some kind of city in Jamaica that's going to be totally westernized, Europeanized. Yeah. So
I don't know whether or not they'd have the opportunity to do it down there. It's a beautiful part of the island.
They would build
underdeveloped.
Anything anywhere, yeah. They build anything anywhere. Because I really thought that Branson and his co-piece were gonna develop the harbour area in not Harbourview, in Kingston, because they own a lot of the properties down there as well. You know?
On the seafront,
yeah, on the seafront. So I was expecting them to actually develop that area, you know, into one of their super 6-star mogul hotels and all them type of thing there, you know, shopping malls and whatever.
Oh yeah, you heard about that one, but that's you just previewing it, because that's something that's in the. I don't know if Empress Santa heard about it, where in the seafront behind in Kingston there. At the back road there, I don't know if you're from around there, they were planning to build a mega mall with all the name brands, stores that people can actually pull up on a boat and then go shopping, stop in Jamaica, and then continue on their trip.
Yeah.
That was a project that was also too,
Yeah. That's the type of thing I would expect. That's the type of thing I would expect. It's like I've seen something similar like that in Istanbul, Turkey. Yeah. And and there's something similar like that again in Dubai as well. Yeah. So it's inevitable, you know. Life is life, man. Life is life.
No, I haven't heard them talking about that of late.
Yeah.
But yeah, if that idea is out there, then like you say, depending on the cost and all the various getting everything together, that's going to be a long-term project.
Yeah,
and if you've got that type of backing, then the conversation will come back around. Definitely will come back around.
The thing is, all you have to look at is what they did with Silvertown in the Docklands, right? And now they have all those offices and everything there in the Docklands area, and that was an area that was almost a no-go area for a very long time, but they developed it, and same thing, and let's say for what has been achieved in Africa, right? As an example, you know, there are some super cities in the African continent, right? It wouldn't surprise me if they do those type of things in the Caribbean or throughout the Caribbean, right? I think that is personally, I think that is well overdue upgrading of the infrastructure in the Caribbean, right? Because you know some of the buildings there, they're ready to be torn down and rebuilt, you know. So that's how I see it, and yeah. But hey,
so brother, what do you think in terms of the airport, another international airport then in Negril?
Say that again, please, because you dropped out there.
Negril,
yeah.
Yeah. With this new airport, I don't know the report, the airport you mentioned before. I heard it was an airport that, even though diplomats fly in there, they heard a lot of resources between the governments are left from there. So it's like an Austin airport. I don't think Jamaica needs 4 airports, to be quite honest. I don't see where they're getting that volume of people to come in and out of the country, especially where we don't have our own airline anymore. I don't know if it's got to do with the fact that they're trying to make connections with the Caribbean and Africa, so they're probably preempting that in the future they're going to probably have an overload. But for me, I've not really seen any evidence where Jamaica airports overcrowded, so they need another extra airport. I just think it's a waste of the taxpayers' money, to be quite honest. For the moment, yeah.
The way how I see it, Brother Icon, right, is that it's going to be one of those places that Jamaica is going to be a transit place, you know, like basically like a Vegas. Yeah. Short
like
break.
Turkey, you pass through,
yeah. Transient to wherever, right? So could be to America, right? Cuba, wherever they want to come, right? And then like China as well, because like it's kind of, if you look on it on a global aspect, right, it's one of those islands that is big enough to and it's more central as well, right, to a lot of places in the world. Right, from those continents as well. So I can see it being utilized in that way there for like people to come for vacation, and obviously even though you like they have like Brazil, they have like sorry, I say Brazil, South America, right, and like Cuba, as I said, and the African continent, all these places are only a few hours away from where they are, right? So if they're looking for a place to migrate to that is a developing haven, right? In which many ways I feel that a lot of the rich and wealthy will take advantage of coming to Jamaica, right? So, you know, I feel that it's going to be the ethnicity of Jamaica is going to change and be more diverse in the near future, but it's going to be also accompanied by a lot of wealthy people. Yeah, right. So you're gonna get a lot of them coming there, and using that as one of their places of getting away from where they are, right, and then like even commuting to wherever they need to go to, you know.
So
yeah,
one of the reasons that they're talking about it now is because of the people going via. So I know in the past I would always go via Kingston to come to Jamaica and expect a 2-hour immigration, gathering my bags and getting out the airport, and I saw that as normal. I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to go and use Mo Bay because they treat you like a tourist, whereas Kingston, they treat you like a native. But it appears that you go down to Mo Bay, and I've used Mo Bay a few times now recently. To me, it's different sides of the same coin. It's still 2 hours in immigration. And that seems to be the thing that they're saying that the bloggers have been highlighting in Mo Bay, the wait and the queues and the passport system not being as efficient as it could be in terms of biometric passports that you can read, and it reduces the time. So that's one of the reasons why they're saying let's take some of the pressure off of Mo Bay and build another airport in the Grill to deal with the numbers that are coming into Jamaica and to make it more of a smoother, touristy type of environment from the minute the plane lands rather than the minute you get to your destination.
I could see with that point that you said, this is Sandra, because when I'm going back and because I'm a native, so you know when you that's like when you come to the UK, if you're a British citizen, you got that line. So when you land into the you got that line, then the Jamaicans tend to go through faster than the foreigners, and sometimes I laugh and I say, no, you know, I feel when I land in the UK, because when you land in the UK, you have to go through that long line. You know what I mean? So it's a kind of dynamic like that. Yeah, but I hear what you're saying. It kind of makes sense why they would want to do that, because maybe Jamaica's influx of foreigners is getting larger, where they see. I mean, people coming in and they're just saying they're delayed a lot of time on the airport, and where the airports are not mega big, so I would understand why they probably want another one, but I don't think they can do too much more expansion, and that especially if they're getting more influx of people coming into the country. Yeah.
Well, one question I would like to ask, you both of you being regular travelers, right? Have they implemented the biometrics? Service at the airport?
Yep. Definitely within Mo Bay, which I figured they'd have done the same in Kingston. I've not come through Kingston recently, but definitely in Mo Bay, you can go and you can, but that only gives you a certain length of, so the main queues that they show in terms of going into Jamaica now, in terms of Mo Bay, and they do the queuing system whereby it's a snake, and there must be 30 machines that you can read your passport. But then once you've come through that hall, you go into the immigration hall, which is even more frightening than the first hall that you came through. So I understand that I've just had a long flight, short flight, whatever, and that, oh my God, I'm in one queue and I come out that queue thinking I'm going to go pick up my luggage, but in fact I'm going into the immigration queue, which is what brother was just talking about, which in itself can be pretty horrifying. But for me, it's all part of the journey. It's a 2-hour wait, whichever airport. I've traveled in other countries, other continents, and it's a 2-hour wait. Why do I assume that because the plane lands, I can jump off, jump through immigration and jump out. Why? Who am I? Why? What? Why is this? Why is it this rush? Yeah, you want to make it pleasant, and they do play nice music, and it is painted nicely in Mobay, and Kingston is there or thereabouts, or getting there, and they pull their boots themselves up by the bootstrings. But why do I assume that I've got a right to jump off a plane, to walk through immigration, pick up my bags and leave? And I think it's a mentality that as travelers that we have, is that, yes, I've paid a hell of a lot of money to get to Jamaica, or I've not paid a lot of money. But either way, what right does it give me? If you're on the bus, it's exactly the same. If you're on a tube, it's exactly the same. Why do we think that we've got a right the minute the doors open to suddenly be transported out? That's Star Trek. We're getting there, but we're just not there yet. Breathe. Take it easy. Chill.
Yeah, you're on vacation.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway. I think I've had enough already this few days now. Yeah, as I say, at the top of the hour, we should have Dr. Oliver in the house. Okay. Yes, brother Icon. You have anything else to share with us this morning?
Yeah, I've been looking at the YouTube, and I've noticed that they're trying to bring back the sound system culture. I don't know if you're aware of that, but there's a lot of bloggers that on YouTube now, and I'm looking at some of the dances keeping, especially recently in Jamaica. And I was looking at, I would say even quarter of the dances, or maybe even near to half, it's got white people and a lot of Indians in the parties nowadays.
Of course.
I'm thinking, wow, there's a lot of white people in Jamaica. I've noticed that, especially. It was a bit surprising to me.
The tourist thing.
Yeah, yeah. So I don't know. They're trying to bring back that culture, because I've seen a lot of sound systems coming back now. It's not like the monitor boxes. A lot of big sound. Like there was a dance in January in Puff Bay where it was Kilimanjaro, Ricky Trooper sound, and basically it was in a lawn in Puff Bay in January.
Yeah, but the thing, so you think about it. Them man, they know, right? They toured the world. They tour the world, right? And when they go to these other places, right? They go to South America, they go China, India, Africa, right? When they're playing in those places, right? Who do you think is the most attendees? It's not just black people, right? Recently, or a few days, yesterday actually. Sorry, a few days. Yesterday, the passing of Chashaka, yeah. And whenever I've been to any of his events, it's 80% of the attendees, sometimes 90%, is white people, right? It's white people, yeah. So you shouldn't be surprised when you see them at most of the sound system events. You shouldn't be surprised. All even like when you see artists, they're performing, right, at stage shows, right, hip hop, reggae, whatever, right. It's mainly white people, right. Mainly the white people that's there, who's there. So it's no surprise. It's not surprising when you see that. It's not surprising.
Yeah.
Just given the crime what they was talking about, especially like those big events probably like a tourist era, I would say okay, but when I actually see them in Kingston in those street dances, that's the sucker for me, because you would think they would be probably scared to go for the place, but they're not. They're there. Yeah, they're just on the locals and everything. Yeah,
I understand. You don't expect them to see them in your backyard.
Yeah.
Oh, you are coming at me out, so.
Yeah.
I understand that.
The festival that Popcorn keep in Portland. Are you familiar with this, Sandra? yearly festival, the Popcorn Keep.
Sorry, the yearly
Popcorn.
festival.
Popcorn Keep a yearly festival. I think it's coming up sometime, and probably a month or two. It keeps in Portland. That's where it's from. Popcorn, yeah. Are you aware of the festival?
I'm not aware of. I know that I know of some of the festivals, but I've not heard of that one as yet.
Yeah, I think it's called the Unruly Festival or something like that. Yeah, but it keeps every year.
What, on the road?
No, it's a venue in Portland. The last time it kept, I think Drake was even there. He's got some very big international artists that comes to, so it's a very big event.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. No, there's I need to learn to read and it was interesting when I travelled during that official lockdown house arrest that they encouraged people to go on. One of the things I noticed in terms of Jamaica was that there wasn't as many. You wouldn't be walking by and see on a lamppost advertising or other spaces. They were advertising the artists, the DJs, the events.
Yeah.
And now I'm seeing them now, but I need to learn how to read them. So some of them will clearly say on the beach, and it makes sense because I can read it all and I can read it quickly and move on. But others, I'm standing and I'm thinking, but where's the location? So there's even one in the paper, and it gives you the price, it gives you the entertainers, it gives you a headline, but it doesn't tell me where it is. So it could be the one you're talking about, but because I'm not familiar with the time and the space, for me, that little bit of information I need, where is it? Which parish? Where is it in Portland? And there've been a few. They had, what's his name? Up in the valley over the Easter. So over the Easter, there were things happening in Portland, big time DJs coming down. And I saw the adverts, and it's only because I was passing, I thought, okay, oh, that's what it is. That's where it is. And when I was going up to the valley, someone spoke about the rave and they were talking about the DJ. I can't remember which DJ it is. And I thought, if they're coming to Jamaica, you really truly do want to go and see King Tubby or one of them. It was one of them type of DJs. You do need to go and see them. And it was $1,000 head. And I'm thinking, $1,000 for that DJ and the others that will be there, it would definitely be worth it. And the person was talking to the taxi driver and saying, are you going to be running around tonight? Because I'm looking, I know I want to go down there, but getting back home, whatever. But like I said, I need to learn how to read the posters because I can read the price, I can read the artist, I can't read the location. It doesn't make sense to me. So
it's usually the finest because they put the event very big and bold on the top headliners, but the event where the venue is very small, it's very small print, so probably need to look a bit closer. But it's usually on there.
And sometimes you think, I want to just, you see a poster and you think, I like the creativity of the poster and you'd like what it's saying. But do you really want to stand there in front of the poster? And with me being a foreigner, and everyone knows I'm a foreigner anyway, looking up at this big poster, aiming to work it out. So normally I walk past and it just doesn't look right. It doesn't give the right image. So I keep walking past and hoping the next time when I glance at it, let me look at a different, it's almost like looking at the squares and thinking, okay, I looked at the top and I couldn't see at the top. So let me look at the top.
Let me give you a trick, Sandra. When you next time follow the photo, just pull up beside it and zoom in your phone, take a picture, and then you go home and zoom your phone.
Exactly.
Good thinking. Good thinking.
I was about to say that. So I was about to say that. I've seen many of foreigners take picture of poster, and then they go home and then they get their interpretation out. I want that. I was thinking they need to incorporate the QR codes now. Yeah.
I don't know whether. I'm not sure whether or not the QR codes are incorporated, but yeah.
They should incorporate those into some of the posters now. Anyhow,
no, they are incorporated. The one I'm looking at in the paper, it has a QR code on there.
Yeah.
But it doesn't tell me where it is.
No, once you go into the QR code, it will give you all the details and everything on there.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Yeah. See?
Okay. Live and learn. Live
There
and
you go.
learn.
There you go. See? There's still life in this old dog yet. There you go. There you go. Right, right. Elia, listen, we reached you to the top of the hour now, right? So let's do a summarization right now. Right now. Yes. You can join in as well, brother Icon. Go ahead. Go on. What have you heard this morning?
Well, I heard from you, Yancy Sunday was talking about, you know, what I mean, the young man there with the ray of, is it ray of hope? His experience talking about, you know, what I mean, change that. As what he's talking about, one of my mantra is something you have to take away yourself to build yourself. You know what I mean? So I'll definitely affirming what you're saying, you know what I mean, with that young man and people listening. Sometimes it's one of the hardest things to do, but it's amazing when you do that, how much space you have to actually sit and think, because sometimes there's so much people around you and they influence you. So you need to go into your inner self, and to do that, sometimes you have to take away yourself to do that. So I just want to affirm, you know what I mean, the conversation earlier on the show. Wonderful show as usual, and I'm definitely looking forward for the Moon Day, you know what I mean, to Sandra again. So have a wonderful, strong. And we'll keep in touch.
You know, so I'm just gonna step back and get on with it now. You know?
Yes.
Hey, I can jump onto it so you know. All right then. All right.
What's that? Get that.
All right, bless up, brother, man. Bless up. And you're on this afternoon, yes? Oh yeah. He's on this afternoon as well. So in a few hours you can hear the Icon. Greetings, my brother. Yeah. So so you know, he'll be on this afternoon. Sister Sandra, your summarization, man.
So for me, it's recognizing and understanding that sometimes you're looking to pull the drawbridge in after the horse has proverbially bolted in terms of the images. So what are you teaching the young people or the community? And now you're turning around and saying you shouldn't be doing this, you shouldn't be doing that. A, we've got the technology that helps us to do it. And B, a number of us are living through the lens of a camera, and we will continue to do so whether or not it's legal or illegal. And then again, as Brother Icon was saying, just in terms of sometimes we need to guard our heart. And what that brother was doing was guarding his heart in order to move out of a situation that no longer served him, in order to move into his purpose potentially in terms of changing around the lives of other people who are going into the gang culture. And then we just finished with some light-hearted in terms of, does Jamaica need a 4th international airport? That's a question.
I think more heliports, please, and make it affordable.
Most definitely.
Yeah, yeah, because that would be nice. That would be nice. Yeah, but it's more it's convenient, and don't go packing them up like how you do the minibus too. Because I just got a vision of a helicopter landing and a goat jumping out. Yeah, that's on my mind. Because you know Jamaican boy, they would try anything and everything, man. They try anything and everything until it broke.
But they're not alone. All the other Caribbean islands I've traveled to and the continent, they do exactly the same thing. What they recognize is that there is space, and as long as there's space and air, let's fill it.
Well, boy,
let's find a seat.
I have seen some antics when it comes to vehicles. People in a boot and all them things, and all 10 and 20 people in a car and all them things there. So I've seen it. So it does happen. It does happen. Yeah, and with their luggage as well. But anyway, here we go. Right. So good. At the top of the hour, we shall be turning over to our next presenter with Dr. Oliver. Yeah. What you say? What you saying, brother?
There.
You're there.
They say in Jamaica.
They're there. Yeah.
God style.
Yeah.
God style.
Yeah. So he's preparing himself to take over right now. Yes. As we have covered this morning, right? Sensationalization, right? Let's keep things real and keep them dignified as well, right? Because privacy and should be always adhered to as well, because as much as we like to share the news and good news and information, right? Let's have the dignity about this as well, right? So, and even with us as presenters, we have our own rules that we adhere to as well, So let's be cordial about how we actually do report our news and how we share our comments and things like this as well. Okay, but apart from that, enjoy your life, enjoy your day, and we shall see you very, very soon. Next up will be our brother Oliver. Until then, Sister Sandra, have a great day.
Thank you.
Right? And we shall speak again in the near future. Okay?
I wanna wrap you up with love, 'cause that is all I have. I could have promised you the world and its riches, and anything that pleases. Reality is no, 'cause that's not how it goes. You gotta love me for who I am, and show the world you don't give a damn. I spend precious moments of the day worried about you. I pray and I ask the Father to pull you